everybody, this is Jean. Today I'm catching up with weeks 17 to 21 of Kylie Coo's Positivity deck. I've been on holiday, which is why I'm so far behind, and I also got a bit stuck on one of them. I probably should have left it and moved on, but I'll know that for another time. The first two cards I did on holiday with limited supplies, and so there are no videos. Week 17 was grow, and my thoughts here were that you needed to feed something in order that it would grow. So if you planted seeds, you needed to feed them and water them. For yourself, if you wanted to grow, you needed to supply yourself with the right sort of food, which I'm not very good at. But I was really thinking in terms of what you feed your mind with. And I need to remember this when I'm watching junk television or reading junk books all the time. It's okay for some of the time, but you're not going to get much inspiration if that is your constant diet. Week 18 was move. This was quite an easy one for me because I really need to start moving and do some exercise. And for me, that's all about walking. So I need to get back into a regular pattern of walking every day. This is week 19, hope. I got stuck on this card for quite a long time. But what I've written here is that even when you think there's no hope left, if you're still there, if you're still alive, then there is still hope. While there's life, there's hope. So that's what I'm trying to represent with this card. So I needed a figure to represent me still here, alive. This doesn't look anything like me, but I like the stance. I did have to reduce it, copy it and reduce it on the computer, and so here I'm cutting it out. I started this card when I was on holiday, and I had the picture of the cage with the bird that's flown, which I thought was a good representation of no hope. Hope is gone. And so I'm sticking on the figure to show that hope hasn't gone because it's still here. And then I use these rub-on letters to write the word hope. This is card number 20, light. The first image that came to me with the topic of light was light at the end of the tunnel. And once that image had come to me, I couldn't get that out of my head. So that's what I did the card about. And it seemed to go very well with the previous card, which was hope. Once again, I started this card when I was on holiday, and I used an old background of a brick stencil, which I stuck to my card and then didn't really get any further until I got home. And here I am painting in the shape of a tunnel. And the reason I think that this image was so strong in my mind was that my partner and I used to have a narrowboat on the canals, and we went through several tunnels, which I always hated. And I was always so glad to see that little tiny pinprick of light that showed that we were getting somewhere towards the end. I used my label maker to make the quote, light at the end of the tunnel, and then this white gel pen just to put that tiny little pinprick of light that you see that makes you breathe more easily. And then I outlined the quote with just a black fine liner. And then used a black ink pad to just put a border on the outside. This is card 21, Journey. I started thinking and writing about how you can't really prepare for your life's journey like you can for other journeys, because you never really know what's around the next corner. But I then went on to think back at my own life's journey and decided that it certainly wasn't a straight line, but it wasn't even a twisting line. My life's journey seems to have been full of lots of branches, lots of points where I had to make a choice, and I chose in the best way that I could at that time. It may not have always been a good choice or a well-informed choice, but I couldn't have done any better at that time. And you can't go back and take the other path. And I have to remember that. So that's what this card is trying to show. So I start with a street map, an old street map of London, an old A to Z page. And I thought a street map would represent those branches that you take when you decide which street you're going to follow. So I just stick it down with a glue stick and then trim off the excess. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with this, and I wish I hadn't done this next step, but I painted over the paper with white paint. It's a Deco Art paint, fluid acrylic, and it's called transparent white, and it is quite transparent. But after I decided what I wanted to do with it, I realised I could have left it the original colour, and I could have printed out this picture in a more sepia tone, and it would have worked just as well. As it happens, I printed it out in black and white. It is a photograph of two paths diverging in a wood. One of the things that made me start thinking about this branching idea was that poem that I heard recently. It's a very well-known poem. I've known it for a long time, and it starts, two paths diverge in a yellow wood, by Robert Frost. I just make a black border with quite a wide Sharpie, and that's the end of card 21. So in a moment I'll show you some close-ups of all the cards that I've done in this section. There are 5 in all. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you all again soon. Please subscribe if you haven't already done so. Bye.